to your left is famous for Captain America, the First Avenger, The Amazing Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2, Changeling with Angelina Jolie, The Blues Brothers, directed by John Landis. It's been seen in endless shows like SWAT, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Good Girls, 911, Kenan, Hunters, Will and Grace, How I Met Your Mother, Quantum Leap, Tech TV. The list is endless. So we're going to drive through this whole section. It's called the Metropolitan section. It's the first 4 acres of our lot, and it is really the beginning of the back lot. So to help us kind of be ushered into the 400 acres, I'm going to pass it over quickly to Jimmy Fallon.
We're about to cross the imaginary boundary onto the back lot, where we have exterior sets for many outdoor scenes. Over the last 60 years, studio tour guests have seen these locations turned into big cities, wide suburbs, even that guy's hometown. Yeah, that guy. For countless movies and TV shows. This is Universal's Metro set.
So the Metro set's really, it's the first 4 acres where the buildings are all over 50 feet tall to give us the illusion that we're looking at skyscrapers, but at the end of the day, we're looking at facades, just the fronts and sides of buildings. So we're driving through London Square right now. It's based on the Regency era of London. If you guys take a look to your left at this mural, it's completely painted in HD paint. Some of the windows on the mural are reflecting what is on the right-hand side of us. But generally with murals, the camera's never going to get this close to a mural. In fact, this scene from Bruce Almighty is the perfect usage of this mural. Take a look.
Where's the dog?
I'm in the shower!
So,
Outside bad, outside good.
in the background of this scene is the mural that you're looking at to your right-hand side. So once we clear this street, once we get past these cones on the right, I want you to take a look down to your right-hand side. Once we clear these cones, you're going to see Brownstone Street on your screens. That is the same street from Bruce Almighty that you're seeing on your screens right now. It's also been seen in Home Alone, Lost in New York. It's also Mindy's neighborhood in the Mindy Project. And it's also been actually featured in quite a few episodes of The Voice, but we'll get into that in a second.
Outside good. Oh, you're done. B-E-A beautiful.
Does anybody watch The Voice or America's Got Talent? Because both of those shows film here on the lot. And the way that they set up the auditions for these shows are very similar. Before the contestants ever step foot on stage to perform for the coaches or for the judges, they will take us, the audience, on a tour of their hometowns, right? They're always like, oh my gosh, I used to go to this little cafe all the time, and this is where I would sit with my guitar and try to write my songs, or I used to go to this movie theater every day. That movie theater, that cafe, it's on New York Street. Their childhood homes, it's probably Brownstone Street, the one that we saw Jim Carrey hanging out on, and Bruce Almighty. So a lot of that is all filmed here in the beginning, and whatever we need to do later on in the season, we'll actually go to their real hometowns to get that real footage. But we gotta try to fake it till we make it. Sometimes we even use a little computer-generated imagery. But the first thing we're going to check out that's digital here on the studio tour is coming up. It's King Kong 360 3D, and that's where we're going right now. So, do me a favor, turn the flash off the cameras and cell phones. If you have anything on the floor, pick it up now, put it on your lap or a blue seat next to you. We will be experiencing Southern Tram movements. And you still have your difference on the ends. You have about 30 seconds to figure that one out. So, as you do, I'm going to pass it over quickly to Peter Jackson.
Don't worry, baby. I got you.
That movie on
On the TV?
Oh yeah.
I like films that just take you a very rough, narrow trail in Skull Island, allowing the visitors a little sneak peek at some of the wildlife of Skull Island.
Here we go. That was. It got me more wet. I think those headphones are broken after that because there's a lot of saliva.
Just intense unique experiences on the planet. Those screens are 40 feet tall, 180 feet long, and if you guys thought that was scary, this one's gonna know that it does get worse. But
Oh.
don't cross me first thing when we get there because that was amazing. Peter Jackson is in fact a genius, but he did not do this alone. He works this incredible team. They're based out of my beautiful home country of New Zealand. This team is now known as Weta FX. They're now known as Weta FX, but they used to be known as Weta Digital. They have 7 Oscars for their work on Avatar. They go to the Ring Trilogy, The Planet of the Apes, The Hobbit, The Jungle Book, King Kong, and now
Oh,
for
are you
Avatar,
okay,
The
my
Way of
baby?
Water. They also worked on Marvel's Avengers Infinity War and Black Widow and Black Panther. They're
Don't worry.
announcers of what they do.
The
This is a little
gorilla
behind the scenes look into the
killed
making
those
of King
dinosaurs.
Kong through 63D. Check it out.
It's okay, my baby.
Like studio tour, the audience is in the middle of the environment.
I
They're
gotta be
looking in
a
all
good
directions. There's creatures coming at them. They're seeing Kong from this side and T-Rexes from the other side.
Working on a movie, we always know when people are looking. They're looking straight ahead, they're looking at the shot.
It's stunning. It was created by Tristan Eaton. We're paying homage to our classic Universal monster movie history. We've got Dracula, Bride of Frankenstein in the center, Creature from the Black Lagoon, and then on the far end we have the Wolfman, which is my personal favorite Universal monster. But of course, when we decided that we were going to have a mural featured here on the lot, there was no question that we were going to go with the monsters, because at the end of the day, the core, the foundation of Universal's history is the monster movie history. They're the first movies that we ever created. The industry credits us as being the creators of the monster genre, but the monsters went on to pave the way for the Titans of Terror, like Freddy, Jason, Michael, which is the real reason we have an event here every year called Halloween Horror Nights. So if you've ever been and wonder why that event specifically is so important to us, it's because all roads lead back to our monster movie history. So, we're going to keep it moving to Little Europe, which is actually the home of our monster movie history. But before we get there, I know we had like, what, a minute and 30 seconds away from King Kong 360 at this point, but I want you to check in with yourselves and ask yourselves if you can go through something similar to King Kong 360 again. Because we do have a second motion simulator, a part of the tour. It's called Fast and Furious Supercharged, and it's not until the very, very end of the tour. So you have some time to figure out if you can hang with more set and trail movements, fire effects, strobe lights, or fog effects, because if you don't think you can, that's okay. Just pull down the cord, come back there, we'll have a chat. We'll get it all sorted out. Okay, so just be mindful of how you're feeling, and if anything changes, or if anything needs to be addressed, just pull down on the cord, I'll come back there, and we'll figure it out. So let's head on over to Little Europe. This is actually what we refer to as this area, Little Europe. That's the first name we gave it. The intention is for it to be Paris today, Rome tomorrow if we need to. But these days, Little Europe is actually best known as the Good Place.
You, Eleanor Shellstrom, are dead.
Cool.
This location, the afterlife, come on. I've never ever seen this.
You're in the good place.
I'm not supposed to be here. I can't risk going to the bad place.
Well, maybe it's not all that bad.
How can I help you?
What is the bad place like?
Well, it doesn't sound awesome.
So that little scene where she just said, well, that doesn't sound awesome, was filmed right here. It's going to come up on our left-hand side where these little bistro seats are and the red little umbrella. That's where that scene was filmed. But outside of this being known as the Good Place, this is also known as Genovia from the Princess Diaries 2, A Royal Engagement. This has also been seen in Pirates of the Caribbean versus the Black Pearl. The moments after Captain Jack Sparrow threatens Elizabeth Swann on the dock, of course, Commodore Norrington does not find this very amusing, so he sends his men to run after Captain Jack Sparrow in hopes of catching him. But of course, Captain Jack Sparrow, he's a master at hiding and dodging being captured. So as he's hiding through the town, behind the doors, through the corridors, this is pretty much where they filmed those scenes, all of Little Europe. So this is also home to several vampire shows. Buffy the Vampire Slayer with Sarah Michelle Gellar. Angel with David Boreanaz. It's also been featured in HBO's True Blood with Anna Paquin, Stephen Moyer, Alexander Skarsgård, and Joe Manganiello. So, all roads lead back to the monster movie history. Dracula, the Wolfman, the Hunchback of Notre Dame, Bride of Frankenstein, they all have history here specifically in Little Europe. Now, as we continue to pull forward here, we are going to be stopped here for a few moments. I don't know if you guys can see this, but there's a tram ahead of us. This is typical for this area because we're all waiting our turn to go check out Soundstage 50. It's going to be about probably 5 minutes before we officially make our way into this building, just based on the timing with the tram ahead of us, and then the extra 2 minutes that we're going to have to wait. It's going to be about 5 minutes or so. So take this time to check in with yourselves again, make sure that you're feeling okay. I would say comfortably that once we approach this building, or actually right when we leave this building, we'll be at the halfway point of the tour. Now there's a lot that's going to happen between now and the finale, now and Fast and Furious Supercharged, so of course if anything changes, just be mindful and keep me posted. But hopefully we move forward soon because we have this, yes? Change seats? No. Yes, of course. Yeah, of course. Can you imagine? No. You have to stay in the window seat. You can't move, sorry. Better? Okay, perfect. Anybody else want to change seats? Go for it. Since we're stopped, you know what I mean? If we were in motion, I would be like, why are you moving? Or you're like, I'm going like 4 rows back. Okay, cool. Are you okay? You better now? Thumbs up? Okay, cool. I think we're good. All right. So we're going to move forward here in just a few moments. But on the left-hand side, this house is an actual real home. There's plumbing, there's electricity, and it was built that way because this house initially was built for a show called Home and Family. Did anyone ever watch that show? It's on the Hallmark Channel. And it was a do-it-yourself home improvement show. So they didn't want to build a house and make it feel like it was a soundstage or like it was a set. So they really built a full-on house here. And now this house is mostly used as the influencer house in Bel Air. So if you watch Bel Air and you've heard of the influencer home, this is the influencer home for the show. And if nothing's in production for this house specifically, this is where you will see a lot of the cast and crew. That scared me. That was worse than a Universal monster right there, Joseph. That just that was on camera.
So agree.
I'm fine. Everything's good. So now that's where you would normally catch any crew or cast hanging out in that house if they're filming in the vicinity. It's like a nice little break space these days.